The year is 20 BBY, midway through the Clone Wars. We start this story at a small 3-bed barrack outpost on the planet of Elphrona. Elphrona is a rocky planet with portions of lush green foliage mixed with orangish vines that are sprouted and twined together to make tree-like structures with yellowish leaves at the top. The Republic had recently built a major aluminum mining plant on Elphrona to help fulfill their needs during the war. Lieutenant Anta of the 149th Advanced Recon Force Battalion was sent to Elphrona with his platoon consisting of 36 men, clone troopers. The troops were divided into 12 groups of 3 troopers each, set in quickly erected Republic-issue barracks in a perimeter around the mining facility to keep it secure. This story will focus on Lieutenant Anta, who and the 2 fellow clones he is stationed with, Styx and Knocker. Lieutenant Anta slowly opened his eyes as light peeked in the rather large windows of the barrack. Another boring day at the mine, he thought as he laid there. He rolled over and looked at the data pad on the otherwise barren wall of the barrack. I guess I have a few minutes before I have to get out of bed and gear up to relieve Knocker from guard duty, he concluded to himself. Anta shut his eyes for what seemed like 2 seconds, only to hear the data pad on his wall blipping, indicating that he was 5 minutes until guard change. Anta reluctantly rolled out of his bunk and began to gear up in his ARF trooper armor. He had about half his armor on when he heard what sounded like a blaster shot. He paused and listened intently. Anta leaned over Styx, who was sound asleep in the bunk next to him, and scanned the rocky hillside next to him and the thick green and yellow foliage past the embankment. When he didn't see anything, he decided that he was probably just groggy. Suddenly, he heard another blaster shot, and then another. He leapt up from his bunk with only half his armor on, grabbed his DC-15A blaster rifle, and headed for the door. Anta burst through the door, only to see Knocker standing there over a bone-backed, lime-green-colored mammal that he had shot. Knocker jumped back and then started forward, took off his helmet, and chuckled. "You look like you just saw a Force Ghost or something, Sarge." "I thought we were under attack when I heard the gunshots," Anta replied. "That's wishful thinking," Knocker added. "I wish someone would attack us already. Sure would make things more interesting around here," said Anta. "That's for sure. We aren't trained to act like the Coruscant Guard," replied Knocker emphatically. "Say, why did you shoot this animal anyway?" asked Anta. "Dinner, I guess. Better than those rations back in the barrack," replied Knocker. "Make sure you save me some," laughed Anta. "I am going to finish putting my armor on and relieve you of guard duty so you can cook up the animal," Anta said. Later in the day, after Knocker and Anta had eaten most of the animal, Anta got a call on his comlink from Styx, who was supposedly outside on guard duty. Anta pressed talk on his comlink. "What do you have to report?" he asked Styx. Styx replied in a confused tone, "Sir, there is a hub droid from the mine just hovering there motionless in the foliage about a half click away from me through the clearing. I will be right there to check it out." Bzz. Anta cut off his comm. "Let's go, Knocker." Anta and Knocker left the barrack and met up with Styx outside. Together they looked at the eerily still hub droid in the distance. "That's definitely one of the mining droids," Anta whispered. "We might as well just approach him and see what's up. I mean, he is just a dumb, harmless mining droid after all," Styx said. "Yeah, that sounds fine," Anta replied. The 3 of them got up from their hiding spot behind a dark orangish-brown vine and headed over closer to the droid. After a brisk walk, as they neared the still motionless hub droid, Knocker yelled out, "Are you lost, buddy?" Still no answer. "His motherboard circuit must be fried," Styx exclaimed. "Or he was just powered off for some reason," Anta laughed as he switched the droid's power cell back on. The hub droid sputtered to life. "Go back to the mine, you numbnut," Styx yelled up at the droid hovering above him. The droid did not move. "Dumb piece of scrap metal," Styx muttered under his breath. Suddenly, seemingly motion activated by Styx, the droid surged into action. It grabbed Styx by his chest armor and flung him across the grass and rock. Styx landed on a rocky patch of ground with a sickening thud. Anta and Knocker looked at the droid with astonishment on their faces, under their helmet, springing into action an instant later. Knocker whipped out a pair of gray Mandalorian blasters and shot at the droid, as the droid advanced toward him. As Anta, seeing this, dropped his rifle and ran towards the advancing droid, pulling out his vibroblade. While the droid was focused on Knocker, Anta ran toward the hub droid, leaping from behind, putting the vibroblade directly in the droid's main circuit at the back of the hovering droid's head. Moments later, the droid stopped advancing toward Knocker and fell on the ground. A certain buzzing sound began to vibrate from the downed droid, a sound Anta knew all too well. "Let's get out of here," he yelled at Knocker. Both remaining clone troopers made a beeline for the foliage, away from the rogue hub droid. Boom! A massive explosion erupted behind them, knocking them off their feet. They were able to get far enough away from the wreckage to be unscathed from the blast. They slowly got up and made their way to the rubble from the blown droid. Styx's body was nowhere to be found, most likely disintegrated by the blast. Anta and Knocker took a knee for their fallen brother. Anta and Knocker briskly made their way back to the barracks to report to the surrounding 12 outposts in the area around the mining facility. Anta's comm rung and rung until he finally got an answer from one of the farther outposts, almost on the exact opposite side of the mining post, by the river. "Hello, this is Lieutenant Anta. We were just..." The clone on the other end of the comm interrupted him. "We're under attack. It looks like a rogue hub droid. We shot him down, so everything looks to be under control." An explosion from the other end of the comm sounded, and then static. The comm was dead. "We have to warn the other outposts," Knocker yelled. They could hear other explosions in the distance. "The others are getting blown to pieces out there," Knocker screamed. The sound was deafening. Explosions sounded all around them. It was the sound of their clone brothers getting blown to bits. After the overloading hub droid stopped blowing up, Anta sent out a comm call to see if anyone had survived the reprogrammed hub droids. Anta looked up from his comm. "It's not connecting. We are the only ones left." Knocker looked at his lieutenant and said, "We're going to win this battle, and if not, we will die trying." "Alright, what's our plan?" Knocker asked Anta. He replied, "First step, we get to the ridge overlooking the mining facility and see what's going on down there. There we will see if we are under attack by the Separatists, a pirate gang, or something else entirely." "Alright, let's move," Knocker replied. They made a rather short trek to the ridge, as they mentioned, as they were not far from the mine to begin with. As they looked out over the mine, they saw that nothing was out of the ordinary except for the fact that all the hub droids that were hovering motionless in the yard of the mine. "That's weird that nobody is there, but it makes sense because we would have spotted them come in," Anta remarked. "I wonder if the droids have attacked Ogun's Hope. You know, the city about 45 clicks south of here?" Knocker asked. "I doubt it. They are pretty far away and have nothing of interest for whoever the enemy is," replied Anta. "It's just some old farming town anyway." As they were discussing this, a man in what looked to be farm pants and shirt walked out of the mining facility's command station room and across the dusty courtyard. "Hey, that whole mining operation was supposed to be run remotely," Knocker said, aloud from atop the rocky ledge they were on. "I can't say that I have ever been down there to the mining place, but I know we were told that the station was run entirely by droids, and we were just there to guard the place from afar," Anta said. "Well, looks like we've got to go down there and figure out "What is going on?" Knocker implied. "Yeah, make sure not to set off the hub droids. It looks like they are motion activated, which makes me glad our droid malfunctioned and went to the wrong coordinates, or else we would have been blown to bits just like the rest of the barrack camps," said Anta. "How will we pull this off?" Knocker asked. "I am thinking that if we can get the sequence from the power generator's data computer, we will be able to encrypt the code that reprogram these droids. We will then be able to reverse these droids, bringing them back to their normal mining droid state," Anta stated. "Then we can figure out what's going on and what this farmer's involvement is," Knocker added. "It's settled then. We will sneak down there. I will head to the command station while you go to the power generator and at the far end of the facility," Anta stated. "All right, let's do this, sir," Knocker replied. The two clones snuck down the embankment toward the mine. At the bottom of the embankment, they split paths and headed in different directions. Anta got past a set of stationary mining droids without setting off the motion sensor, and he slowly made his way toward the command station. But when he got to the door, it was sealed shut. He knew from the overlook that this building had a roof access to fix the long-range comm device up there. He used the grappling attachment on his gun and ascended the wall to the roof of the command station. Once he was on the roof, he opened the hatch on top and dropped down to the floor to begin encrypting. Knocker decided to take the long way around the mining facility, through the dense green and yellow foliage to get to the power generator. Once he made it, he snuck in the back garage-like door that was wide open and went straight for the data computer on the wall. He signaled Anta on his comm, letting him know he was ready to power codes. Anta got Knocker's signal and began to tap into the system using the sequence sent to him by Knocker. Anta was surprised by how simple and crude the encryption was. "This couldn't be separatist work," he muttered to himself as he worked. Knocker was powering down the generators when he felt a firm whack on the back of his helmet. He whirled around to see the farmer-looking man raising a metal pipe to hit him again, but this time he jumped back and dodged the blow. The man realized that he was not going to win this fight and ran out of the building into the courtyard of the mining facility. Knocker, still recovering from his blow, got up and jogged after the man in hot pursuit, forgetting all about the motionless hub droids in the courtyard. The farmer-looking man held up some kind of cloaking device that made the droids not notice him. But as soon as Knocker ran into the courtyard, it was over. Every droid powered up and looked straight at him. The man turned and sneered at Knocker and said in a raspy voice, "This is the last time. This is what you get for coming to my planet, clone." All the droids began to march toward Knocker. He braced himself, ready to fight, but he knew there was no way he could win this battle. Just as the droids were close enough to grab him and fling him like they did to sticks, the droids changed course and began heading into the mine. The man looked stunned. "How?" he stammered. How did you do that, clone?" Knocker looked over to the command station. He saw Anta emerging from the roof of the dusty building. "He finished that encryption in the nick of time," Knocker muttered to himself. Anta and Knocker made their way to the center of the courtyard amidst the hum of the mining droids working around them. They asked the man in a gruff tone, "What was your motive for destroying the Republican stillment here?" The man looked defeated and dejected. He began. "Ever since 200 years ago, when the Nile kidnapped the Blythe family from the outskirts of Ogun's Hope, our world has never been the same. Pirates and smugglers have been in and out of our planet, exploiting it for resources, endangering our families for years, ever since it was added to the Republic maps. This has left little resources for us, fueling war and instability that has gone on ever since the Jedi forgot about this planet after the Blythe and Nile incident. Anta and Knocker exchanged glances. "And you think that gives you the right to kill 34 of our platoon members?" Knocker said in an angry tone. "You should have tried to get representation in the Senate," said Anta. "The Nile incident was 200 years ago, and we are still feeling the effects today. Do you think I want to get involved with the Republic all over again?" the man retorted. "You will at least get a fair Republic trial, but it doesn't look good for you considering killing troopers unprovoked is a major offense," Anta replied. "That's exactly the opposite of what I want," the man explained. Before Anta could realize what was happening, the man lunged and grabbed Anta's blaster from his belt, raised it to his own head, and fired, killing himself instantly. Anta and Knocker stood there in shock for a few seconds, and then Knocker spoke. "I was kinda hoping he'd do that." Anta gave Knocker a weird look and then chuckled. "Well, I guess our job here is done for now, although we will let the Republic know about the state of the people living in Ogun's Hope," Knocker replied. "Certainly, but for now, let's go back to the barracks. I've got some leftover meat from that animal I shot this morning." The end.